Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pacers Daily. I am your host, Hery Acosta. Happy Monday, everybody. First week of the NBA season has officially ended. Now it's week 2, and it's just not looking good so far for the Pacers. Now we're coming off a finals run, and just everything so far in 2025 is just completely against us. But we're just not doing anything to really get ourselves out of that hole. So let's hop straight into it. Like and subscribe for more of this content. Thank you everybody who watches and everything. I really appreciate the support and everything. But we're gonna get straight into it. Pacers have started 0-3, and obviously it's been tough games against Western Conference opponents. The Thunder, Grizzlies, and the Timberwolves. But there's been stuff in every game that just the Thunder game was the best game we've probably played. Obviously, the Timberwolves game was only a 4-point loss, but the Timberwolves lost Anthony Edwards after 3 minutes. And the Thunder had a lot of injuries as well, and so did the Grizzlies. So there's just a lot of injuries overall, but the Pacers seem to be getting hit very hard right now with the injury bug, and that's something I'm going to be talking about here in the next minute or two. But overall, it just doesn't look like we know what to do on the court with the players that we have. Now, I was very excited about players like Jay Huff and Wiseman to see what they really could do. And just right now, it's not looking good for either player. And, I was very excited to, see this new starting lineup. But now, Mathurin has been killing it. Mathurin's averaging 31 points after 2 games. But he just missed a recent game against the Timberwolves. And just no one's available. Playing Ray J. Dennis and Quentin Jackson a bunch of minutes, and just overall the team rotation just looks completely off. The defense looks off. Everything's just not looking right. Huge foul trouble for the Pacers like usual, and it just doesn't seem that the Pacers really know the direction right now. But obviously all that starts with injuries. Nembhard got hurt after the first game. McConnell's been out. Halliburton's going to be out. Cam Jones is still out. Mathurin is hurt. And just overall, the whole team is just... Taylor Peters hurt now. And Johnny Furphy's out. So we really have players like Jay Huff, Isaiah Jackson, and Ben Shepherd are all starters right now. Which obviously Jackson was, but there was a game where James Wiseman started. And so these injuries are kind of cooking the chemistry, and just kind of seeing where do we go from here. Because one game we start this rotation, another game we start this rotation. I like Ben Shepherd, but Ben Shepherd is not a starting point guard. Ben Shepherd is not a starting point guard. We have no point guards on the roster right now except Ray J. Dennis, and obviously I'm not starting Ray J. Dennis. Maybe you could start Q, but even then, Q's more of a shooting guard than a point guard. But the best point guard we have available right now, sadly, is Shepherd. And I really like him off the bench. I don't like him as a starter. He has not been playing well as a starter. So I'm hoping Nembhard comes back soon. I'm hoping McConnell is up to par whenever he comes back, like the next week or two. But it's crazy how one injury at the end of the playoffs has just triggered a chain of events all throughout the beginning of this season, stemming from the not just the preseason but also training camp. Now, this is the one I really want to talk about, because we start Isaiah Jackson in our first game, because that was the original lineup, and then we start Wiseman after Jackson has a bad game, and then we go back to Jackson, but we also start Jay Huff at power forward. We have no idea what we're doing with our centers, because Tony Bradley's also getting a lot of minutes. It feels like every 3 minutes we're subbing our center, or we're playing 3 of them at the same time. I know this was garbage time during the Grizzlies game that we played Bradley, Wiseman, and Huff all at the same time. What kind of lineup is that? Now, Huff can shoot threes, but Wiseman and Bradley outside of the paint are useless. They cannot sit behind the 3-point line. You just got 2 people in the paint, and there's no floor spacing. And I'm a fan of Wiseman, and Bradley, but I'm not gonna say that they're that good at being outside the paint because they're not. And even when they're in the paint and they're going up against any other center, they're getting clamped. So we have no center rotation right now, and that is the biggest mistake we made this offseason was not picking up a top tier center when there's so many on the trade market. Obviously, before the Jazz absolutely destroyed the Clippers on their opening night, Walker Kessler was a top target. Players like Donovan Clingan could be a top target. Nikola Vucevic should be a top target. That's a double machine. We don't have any of those. We just have Siakam who can get a double double and Mathurin who can get a double double. Obviously Halliburton with assists, but we don't have him this year. But there's just no center rotation right now, and it's absolutely, beats me how we didn't even look. We got rid of Turner, and we didn't bring anyone close to his skill set back. And I know I had said way back when I first started, this channel first started, that I was excited for Huff because I genuinely thought he could actually bring something to this team. But I know it's been 3 games, but in those 3 games our center rotation couldn't have looked worse. But I'm hoping it gets better. Now, basically, if you're a role player on another team, you're going to have a career game against the Pacers. Cedric Howard dropped 27 points on our heads. AJ Mitchell went crazy. Timberwolves had 7 players in double figures. Normally, we're the team that has 6 to 7, 8 players in double figures. But hey, we're not. And it's just crazy to see how much everything has changed ever since Halliburton went down. I thought there'd be a little bit more hope. Now, obviously, I'm going to keep being optimistic. And I'm going to keep talking about, the season, how everything's been going. But as of right now, I don't know what the Pacers could really change because I'm thinking we need to trade for an actual center. We need to get rid of Bradley or get rid of Wiseman. Neither of those are actually going to do anything on this team. And I don't know why we kept 4 centers in the first place. There was no reason to keep. One of those 2 had to go, and we could have kept. This is crazy. We could have kept Campaign, or we could have kept any of the other point guards that we got rid of, just so we could have that backup. Because we know Nembhard has some injury issues. Halliburton's out. You knew McConnell was going to be out for a bit. Cam Jones is still dealing with a back injury. Could have had that point guard still there, and no one would have picked up Bradley. Bradley wasn't in the NBA for 3 seasons. The Pacers were the first team to even look his direction. But, that's that. There's a lot that we can go into and discuss just because I don't really see what direction the Pacers can go from here. Now, obviously, this isn't rock bottom, but when you hit rock bottom, the only way to go back is up. And I hope the Pacers can kind of figure it out just because, it's not going to get easier. The next game is against the Mavericks, and that's a team that has 3 first ballot Hall of Famers on it. Obviously, Kyrie's not playing, but that's still a team that has Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, and they have Cooper Flagg. So that's that. But, I'm going to keep rooting for my team. I really hope we get better. I really hope we can just, brush these 3 games off and just start some crazy streak. But I just need something to root for right now because obviously the Colts are doing great, IU's doing great, so my other teams are doing great. But I just need the Pacers to kind of lock in a little bit and play around the fact that yes, we have injuries, but not everyone's going to play their best games. But as always, I'm your host Hery Acosta. This is Pacers Daily. Boom baby, and go Sirs.